show kindness, hide strength. It sounds simple, almost gentle, like something you'd read on a fortune slip or hear in the whisper of a monk. But beneath those words lies a philosophy that has built empires, shaped revolutions, and protected the few wise enough to understand its power. Because the modern world worships loudness. It celebrates spectacle. It mistakes aggression for authority and confusion for confidence. But true power, real, enduring power, never announces itself. It doesn't need to. It moves silently, decisively through the world like a current beneath calm water. It's the strength of a mind that knows when to speak and when to disappear. To show kindness but hide strength is to master duality, the art of appearing soft while remaining unbreakable. It's the wisdom of the Stoics, the strategy of Sun Tzu, the soul of Jung. It's the understanding that gentleness without strength is vulnerability, but strength without gentleness is brutality. Kindness is not weakness. It is camouflage. It disarms those who mistake compassion for compliance. It confuses those who think empathy means submission. It lulls arrogance to sleep, and by the time it awakens, it's already been outmaneuvered. This is the mindset of those who truly understand power. They do not perform it, they possess it. Look through history. The most formidable minds, Marcus Aurelius, Miyamoto Musashi, Carl Jung himself, all practiced this quiet paradox. They lived among chaos, but were never consumed by it. They treated others with humanity, yet kept their thoughts hidden behind composure. They gave no one the blueprint to their mind. They smiled with empathy while planning their next move in silence. The modern world teaches the opposite. It tells you to show everything, your emotions, your wounds, your dreams, to wear your heart on your sleeve, to share every thought, every goal, every plan. But when everything is exposed, nothing is sacred. When everything is seen, nothing is safe. Power demands mystery. And that is why the one who shows kindness but hides strengths always wins. Because they are underestimated. They appear harmless until they aren't. They appear agreeable until they decide not to be. They observe quietly, learning the patterns of those too busy broadcasting theirs. People mistake their calmness for submission, their patience for passivity, their humility for fragility. But the quiet person is not weak. The quiet person is gathering data. They are watching, calculating, seeing not only what people say, but what they reveal unconsciously, the subtle flinches of insecurity, the tones of entitlement, the cracks in the performance. They listen more than they speak, because listening is how you read the soul. And when they finally act, they do so with precision. It's Machiavelli's principle in motion. Never show your full hand. Because the moment you reveal all your power, you've given away your advantage. True strength is not in being feared, it's in being unknown. The ones who roar about their power have already lost it. Because if you need others to believe you're strong, it's because deep down you're not sure. Those who have real strength, mental, emotional, spiritual, walk through life with quiet eyes. Their power lives beneath the surface, like magma beneath the earth. You don't see it until it erupts. But even then, it's never chaotic. It's deliberate, controlled, calculated. That's what makes hidden strength divine. It's disciplined. Discipline is the invisible crown of the strong. It's not built from dominance. It's built from self-mastery. You can't hide strength if you don't control it. And control comes from restraint. Restraint is a dying art. Most people react. They explode at insults, broadcast their plans, beg for validation, expose their emotions for the world to dissect. But restrained silence in the face of chaos is the highest form of strength. Because restraint is not suppression. It's choice. It's knowing you could destroy someone's argument, but choosing silence instead. It's knowing you could humiliate someone, but choosing dignity. It's knowing you could reveal your pain, but choosing peace. To show kindness while hiding strength is to live with strategic compassion. It's to offer empathy to those who deserve it, not to everyone who demands it. It's to protect your peace without needing to explain it. It's to love without attachment, to give without depletion, to understand without absorbing. It's not passive, it's precise. The strongest people on earth are not the loudest, they are the most composed. They're not trying to be seen, they are seen. And their kindness is not weakness, it's awareness. It's the knowing that cruelty is noise and calmness is control. It's the wisdom that says, I don't need to prove my strength by crushing you. My restraint is my power. Carl Jung once wrote that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. As he, and that's the essence of hidden strength, self-acceptance, so deep that you don't need to announce it. When you've made peace with your own chaos, you no longer need to dominate others. When you've confronted your shadow, you no longer project it onto the world. That's why the kind but strong are so disarming, because their strength comes from integration, not ego. They've met their anger and learned from it. They've faced their jealousy and turned it into drive. They've acknowledged their weakness and used it as wisdom. They've fused every contradiction inside them into coherence. And when a person reaches that level of integration, they become untouchable. Not because they can't be hurt, but because they can't be controlled. They've mastered the only battlefield that matters, the internal one. And here's the paradox. The more control you have over yourself, the less you need to control anyone else. That's why the strong appear gentle. That's why the wise appear humble. That's why the lion can sleep while the dogs bark, because he knows who he is. That is the energy of true power, quiet confidence, patient awareness, and a mind too deep to be provoked. So, show kindness, because kindness reveals nothing. It keeps you unreadable. It allows others to underestimate you, to expose themselves in their arrogance. And hide strength, because strength revealed too soon becomes vulnerability. Your mind is a weapon, but the sharpest blade is the one sheathed in peace. Let them misjudge you. Let them believe you are harmless. Let them think they can outwit you. Because the moment they underestimate you, you've already won. You don't need to destroy them. You don't need to prove them wrong. You just need to remain still long enough for their own chaos to expose them. That is the law of concealed power. Truth always unmasks the unworthy. This is why people who live by performance always crumble in the presence of quiet authenticity. Because authenticity is a mirror. And when you stand before someone who has nothing to hide, you can't help but see everything you've been hiding. To show kindness but hide strength is to walk through life as both mirror and mystery. You reveal others to themselves while remaining unknowable. You understand emotion without being ruled by it. You see the game, but you don't play it. You have mastered the most dangerous art of all, to move through the world unseen, but with total awareness. The world does not yet understand that this kind of person, the quiet one, the kind one, the composed one, is the most formidable of all. They are the ones who build in silence, who succeed without noise, who influence without visibility. They are the architects of reality behind the curtain of chaos. So be kind but not naive. Forgive but never forget. Love but never lose yourself in the process. Speak but only when it matters. Move but only when the moment is right. Because kindness is the surface of mastery and strength is its core. To live this way is to embody both light and shadow, to be capable of fury, but choose peace, to hold the power to destroy, but choose to heal, to see through people completely, but never use that sight for cruelty. This is the modern warrior, the Jungian archetype, reborn in a world of noise. A soul who doesn't fight for dominance, but for depth. And when you live this way, you become something that can't be manipulated. You can't be gaslit because you see truth too clearly. You can't be provoked because you've mastered emotional control. You can't be exploited because you've learned to guard your energy with grace. People will test you. They'll mistake your silence for weakness, your patience for submission, your empathy for naivety. Let them, because they won't understand until it's too late that the calmness they mocked was power disguised. And when they finally see it, when the mask falls and your strength reveals itself not through violence, but through unshakable clarity. They will realize the most dangerous person in the room was the kind one. Show kindness, hide strength, and let the world keep guessing which one they should fear more. Because the true art of power lies not in domination, but in invisibility. You see, the world has trained people to equate visibility with worth. To be loud is to matter. To be seen is to exist. To be feared is to be respected. But those who seek power through visibility always lose it through exposure. The spotlight reveals every weakness, every flaw, every insecurity. And when the world sees too much of you, it learns how to control you. But when you master invisibility, when you move without announcement, build without validation, act without audience, you become something else entirely. You become unpredictable. You become untouchable. That's what it means to hide strength. Not to suppress it, but to contain it. To wield your potential like a blade still in its sheath, silent, precise, and ready. Because the loudest warrior dies first. The visible target takes the first arrow. But the one who walks quietly through the smoke, calm, centered, unreadable, is the one who survives. You see this truth in nature itself. The tiger doesn't roar before it strikes. The hawk doesn't scream before it dives. Even the ocean vast, infinite, wears a face of peace while holding storms beneath its surface. That's the power of hidden strengths. It's the power of patience, of precision, of timing. And timing, that's the weapon of the wise. The strong do not rush. The powerful do not chase. They wait, they watch, they calculate. They understand that life is not a sprint, but a sequence, and the one who acts at the right moment changes everything. In a world obsessed with speed, they master stillness. In a world obsessed with noise, they master silence. In a world obsessed with dominance, they master direction. This is what Nietzsche meant when he said, "The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly." And therefore, when you operate from mastery, the untrained mind will always mistake your calm for emptiness. Let them, because the more they underestimate you, the safer your power becomes. That's why the kind and quiet always rise in the end. Because while everyone else exhausts themselves fighting for attention, they are building something invisible, a foundation made of awareness, discipline, and control. And when the chaos fades, when the loud destroy each other in noise, the ones left standing are those who conserved their energy, the ones who chose observation over reaction, the ones who mastered themselves before trying to master the world. This is the hidden hierarchy of strength. Those who control others are strong. Those who control situations are powerful. But those who control themselves, they are untouchable. Self-control is the highest form of dominance because it is the only kind that cannot be taken from you. No one can steal your peace once you've learned to govern your mind. No one can disarm you once you've mastered emotional neutrality. No one can defeat you once you stop fighting battles that do not belong to you. That is what it means to hide strength, to possess power so refined that it no longer needs to prove itself. And that's the kind of strength kindness protects. Because kindness is a shield of perception. It hides your depth behind warmth. It hides your sharpness behind grace. It allows you to observe the world without triggering its defenses. People reveal themselves to kindness. They open up, they expose, they confess because kindness disarms the ego. It lowers the mask. It makes the world show its true face. And once you've seen someone's truth, you hold the power of choice to forgive, to walk away, or to act. That's real control. Because you can't defeat what you can't understand, and kindness makes everything visible. That's why your gentleness is your greatest weapon. It's how you learn the landscape of a person's soul before deciding whether to stay or go. But don't misunderstand, being kind doesn't mean being soft. It doesn't mean letting disrespect slide or allowing exploitation to continue. It means you choose your response with awareness, not emotion. You can love someone deeply and still walk away. You can forgive someone fully and still never speak to them again. You can help others rise without allowing them to drag you down. Kindness guided by strength becomes compassion with boundaries. And that's the rarest force in existence. The weak are kind because they fear conflict. The strong are kind because they've transcended it. You become unprovoked, unbothered, unmoved, not because you don't care, but because you've learned that reaction is the currency of manipulation. You refuse to spend it. Every time you choose restraint over reaction, you build power. Every time you choose silence over argument, you build clarity. Every time you choose kindness over cruelty, you build character. Power built quietly cannot be destroyed loudly. That's what people never understand. You can tear down a man's image, but not his integrity. You can question his words, but not his discipline. You can attack his name, but not his inner peace. That's why Jung wrote that the superior man is not unafraid of his shadow, but familiar with it. He knew that power is not about conquering darkness, it's about integrating it. The strong do not hide from their aggression. They direct it. They do not deny their anger. They refine it. They do not suppress their ego. They educate it. That's the hidden strength beneath kindness mastery over chaos. And in that mastery, you no longer live in reaction. You live in rhythm. Your movements become intentional. Your words become precise. Your silence becomes strategic. You start to embody the rarest energy of all control without tension. It's what warriors call the still mind, the state where clarity and instinct merge, where your heart is calm, your body is ready, and your presence itself commands respect. The ancient samurai believed that true victory was achieved before the battle began because the master's mind was already still. That's you when you choose kindness but conceal strength. You disarm the world without even lifting a hand. You influence it without effort. And while others fight to be seen, you're content to be effective. Because effectiveness is the quiet twin of dominance. It achieves everything without demanding applause. So stop explaining your intentions. Stop advertising your power. Stop proving your goodness. The world will never understand the depth of a person who chooses peace over ego. Let them misjudge your calm as complacency. Let them think your empathy makes you soft. Let them laugh at your silence. They won't be laughing when they realize that while they were shouting, you were building. While they were performing, you were preparing. And while they were trying to be remembered, you were becoming inevitable. Show kindness. Hide strength. Because the loudest person in the room is never the most powerful, the calmest one is. The one who doesn't react, doesn't flinch, doesn't need to prove. The one whose kindness is real and whose strength is invisible. That's who changes the world, not through force, but through presence, not through war, but through wisdom. And when that kind of person walks into a room, the noise dies not out of fear, but out of recognition. Because everyone can feel it. The power that needs no permission. The strength that hides behind kindness. The quiet that commands more respect than 1,000 voices ever could. That's the power you were meant to build. And once you have it, never show it again. Because once you understand what true strength feels like, you realize it was never meant to be displayed. It was meant to be embodied. You begin to see that the world doesn't need more people who can dominate, manipulate, or intimidate. It needs people who can remain grounded when everything else is burning. It needs people who can look into the face of cruelty and not become cruel themselves. It needs people who can move through darkness and remain untouched by it. That's what it means to show kindness and hide strength, to walk through fire with water in your soul, to offer gentleness without fragility, to hold compassion without corruption. You stop reacting to disrespect. You stop arguing with fools. You stop proving your intelligence to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop needing to be the loudest voice in the room, because power that must speak isn't power at all. True strength speaks through energy, not words. And the more you grow, The more you understand this, your silence frightens the insecure because it forces them to confront themselves. When you refuse to engage with chaos, chaos consumes itself. When you refuse to mirror anger, anger collapses under its own weight. You become what Marcus Aurelius described, an unmoved mind, a fortress built on understanding. That's the essence of mastery, to no longer be ruled by reaction, but by rhythm, to flow through life with awareness so sharp that it cuts through deceit, through noise, through illusion, and yet to do it all with grace. You stop taking things personally because you finally understand projection. You stop craving validation because you've learned to self-regulate. You stop seeking recognition because you know that everything real is built in the dark, not under the lights. The hidden build, the loud consume. That's how the world has always worked. The strong don't flaunt their power because they're too busy cultivating it. They don't need applause because mastery is its own reward. They don't chase followers because they're leading themselves. You see, the hidden strength of a person is not measured by what they can destroy, but by what they can endure and still remain kind. It's easy to be calm when life is calm. But when the world tests you, when betrayal cuts deep, when you're misunderstood, overlooked, or disrespected, that's when your strength is measured. Can you stay kind when it's easier to be cruel? Can you stay silent when it's easier to defend yourself? Can you stay steady when everything around you is shaking? That's power. The kind that no one can take from you because it doesn't depend on anyone else. And once you find that kind of strength, it changes the way you see everything. You stop needing to win arguments because you'd rather keep your peace. You stop proving your worth because worth proven is already lost. You stop explaining your boundaries because they are no longer negotiable. This is the strength that comes from self-respect, the quiet force that doesn't ask for permission to exist. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it doesn't threaten. It simply is. And that's what makes it terrifying to those who live off reaction. They cannot control what they cannot provoke. They cannot manipulate what they cannot read. You've become unreadable, not because you're closed, but because you're centered. Your emotions are no longer a language for others to exploit. Your silence is no longer a void to fill. It's a wall of discernment. And this composure is not built overnight. It's forged in disappointment, in solitude, in the quiet hours of reflection where you learn to stop outsourcing your power. You learn that emotional control is not suppression, it's transcendence. It's not pretending not to care. It's choosing when to. Because strength is not just about endurance, it's about intention. A mind without intention is easily manipulated. But a mind that knows its direction cannot be controlled. It is like a river, soft yet unstoppable. This is where the philosophy of show kindness, hide strength, becomes a way of life. You learn to interact without attachment, to forgive without reopening doors, to observe without absorbing, to be present without performing. You live in a state of calm alertness, always aware, never alarmed. People can sense it. It's in your eyes, in your posture, in the way you move through the world, without rushing, without pleading, without noise. You carry peace like a weapon. You wear humility like armor. And those who once sought to test you now step carefully. Not because you've become intimidating, but because your energy commands respect. You've learned that control is not dominance. It's the refusal to let anything external disturb your internal equilibrium. That is the discipline of the hidden strong, to keep your emotions in service of your purpose. To use them as instruments, not shackles. It's what Nietzsche meant when he wrote, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." If you cannot command your own mind, someone else will. If you cannot control your reactions, someone else will design them for you. The strong know this, and that's why they hide their strength. Because visibility invites interference. Exposure invites expectation. The loud are always busy defending their image. The wise are busy sharpening their reality. Your quiet is your protection. Your invisibility is your advantage. Your patience is your sword. Let others show their fire. You be the smoke that blinds them. Because the one who burns brightly burns out quickly, but the one who burns silently, deliberately, that one reshapes the world. That's what the ancient strategists knew. The samurai, the Stoics, the mystics all shared the same secret. Mastery is invisible. The most dangerous warrior looks ordinary. The most intelligent person appears humble. The most compassionate heart belongs to the one who's known darkness and refused to become it. So don't fear being underestimated. Welcome it. It is your greatest disguise. The naive will mistake your patience for weakness. The arrogant will mistake your kindness for submission. The insecure will mistake your calm for emptiness. Let them, because while they're busy misjudging you, you are positioning yourself quietly, strategically, deliberately for the moment that truly matters. And when that moment comes, your strength will not need introduction. It will reveal itself naturally, like dawn breaking after a long night, undeniable, unstoppable, inevitable. That is the nature of hidden power. It doesn't announce itself. It simply arrives. Show kindness, hide strength, not because you fear conflict, but because you've outgrown it. Because real power doesn't seek to dominate it, seeks to endure. And when you master endurance, when you learn to carry peace through chaos, to carry grace through war, to carry truth through illusion, there is nothing left that can destroy you. The world may test you, but it can no longer move you. You will stand like a mountain, silent, immovable, eternal, and yet still let the wind pass softly through your soul. That is the highest form of power, the one that doesn't need to win, because it cannot lose. The one that doesn't need to speak, because its silence already says everything. So, walk gently, speak little, observe deeply, be kind always, but let them never know how powerful you truly are. Because those who truly know their strength never need to show it. And when you reach that place, when your heart is steady, your energy calm, your soul uncluttered, you will understand what it means to be unshakable. Not loud, not feared, not worshipped, just unmoved. The world will still try to provoke you. It will still throw chaos at your feet, tempt you into noise, bait you into reaction. That's the nature of a society addicted to attention. It needs your participation to survive. But you won't give it what it wants. Because you've learned that true strength is not in how hard you can strike, but in how little you need to. Your stillness will terrify the loud. Your silence will expose the false. Your kindness will confuse those who cannot comprehend compassion without weakness. And yet, you won't harden. You won't become cold. You'll stay soft, but not naive. Humble, but not small. Patient, but not passive. Because you have found the rare balance between love and power. You will walk through the world with eyes that see everything and lips that say little. You will feel everything, yet choose what deserves your energy. You will understand people without needing to change them. You will forgive without needing to forget. You will love deeply, but never at the cost of your peace. That's what it means to show kindness, but hide strength. It's to move through life like the ocean calm on the surface, immeasurable beneath. To carry storms inside you that no one will ever see, and to let your peace be the surface they can never disturb. The world will mistake your silence for mystery, your patience for strategy, your composure for power, and they will be right. Because when you can walk through noise without absorbing it, through conflict without losing compassion, through betrayal without losing clarity, what could possibly touch you? You will have become the rarest thing of all, a human being who no longer needs the world to confirm what they already know within. You are enough. You are free. You are sovereign. So don't fear being misunderstood. Don't fear being overlooked. Don't fear being underestimated. That's how the universe hides its strongest warriors from the unworthy, from the unready, from the unaware. Your strength was never meant for performance. It was meant for precision. It was meant for timing. It was meant to protect, not to prove. And so you walk quietly, deliberately, gracefully. You give light where there is darkness, peace where there is chaos, kindness where there is cruelty. But behind your gentleness stands something ancient, unseen, unspoken, unbreakable. Your strength, not the kind that conquers, but the kind that endures. Not the kind that shouts, but the kind that knows. And when people finally see it, not through your words, not through your power, but through your peace, they will realize that they were never looking at someone ordinary. They were standing before a force that cannot be defined, cannot be provoked, cannot be undone. Because strength, once mastered, no longer needs to roar. It just is. Show kindness, hide strength, and let the world mistake your calm for mystery. Until the day it understands that your silence was not emptiness, but mastery.